Lofi Hernandez says they fired the marketing department. How are you supposed to put forward marketing material? Dude. I mean, look, I don't know all the ins and outs of who all got fired. All I've heard, and from the research I've done, bro, is that Xbox fired a lot of executives at Xbox or at the Xbox Game Studios, like, you know, the higher ups of these companies and Xbox as a whole. It does sound like they fired people, you know. I just think like now it should create a more cohesive ecosystem where people aren't just, yeah, like I'll give you an example, dude. Everwild. Everwild got canceled. Studio gets shut down. Why? Well, the reason was because Everwild had been in production for 10 years, brother. Wait a minute. So you're telling me this has been in production for 10 years, meaning that Xbox has been paying salaries, has been paying all those expenses and everything for 10 years, and the game never came out. I think a lot of us, as fans of these franchises, games, and all of that, there's one thing that we do wrong a lot of times. I shouldn't say a lot of times, sometimes. And I think we're wrong with this. Everybody points the finger to Xbox, that they're the bad guys. They have to lay off people and things of that nature. But what we need to start realizing is that a lot of these people that have been working on these projects have had years to get things done. And yeah, maybe it's a problem with Xbox. The higher ups aren't approving things quickly. It's like becoming this endless developer hell cycle and things of that nature. But at the same time, I think that when you start mass hiring people, and a lot of those people, like they have their different jobs, but sometimes it's like, is it really being efficient? It depends on the business, but like in a lot of businesses, you can wear many different hats. You just can. And so where you don't have to maybe hire as many people for certain things, right? You can wear a couple of hats and do those things really, really well. Instead of like, my only job here is to do marketing, right? Because instead of having a full-blown marketing team of like 10, 20, 30 people, you can maybe only have like a couple of people and they like work really well together. They pass their things on to, you know, the higher ups at Undead Labs or Xbox or whatever, and get those things approved a lot quicker. When you have all these other people on salaries, it's like, bro, like, I mean, the money just goes and goes and goes. And you're talking 10 years to get Everwild made? Bro, I mean, it's like, and you have nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. That's why Xbox is like, we're going to have like a Batgirl situation. The game's being made, but we're just going to scrap it because it would probably bomb. And we're just going to move our resources in development to somewhere else. Let some of those people go. The best people, though, the grinders, the really like the amazing workers over there, let's move them over to work on Fable. Let's move them to work on something else. And same thing with like Perfect Dark. It was like, look, it was apparently in a pretty rough state. So what did they do? They scrapped it, you know? They rather release something that's going to be really high quality, but it's also going to make them money, right? And they would just cut their losses now instead of spending more and more resource in development. They're going to focus a lot of those new resources on somewhere else, you know? Think about Dead Space. The Dead Space remake came out from EA Motive. They come out with the Dead Space remake. It was awesome, dude. It was incredible. Well, even as good as it was, and yeah, I think it definitely made EA some money. They were like, dude, we're going to move you guys to Battlefield 6 and look at what Battlefield 6 is doing. So what I'm saying is like, what these companies are doing is they're trying to structure their biggest heavy hitter games, and they want to bring teams together to work on those heavy hitters to knock them out of the park, instead of greenlighting so much extra stuff. And so I think that State of Decay 3 is one of the cases of multiple studios coming together working on State of Decay 3. Gears of War E-Day, the new Halo, They even just made like Halo Studios, remember? You know, it's like, bro, I think that there is absolutely something there without question.